Tomorrow is voting day, the most important day for any American citizen. The opportunity to exercise the most important civil right that any U.S. citizen has, and that is to vote for someone into office, in this case, in the general election for the President of the United States, in order to participate in the peaceful transfer of power. That is the hallmark of the American democracy. Only it wasn't this last time, was it? Barack Obama, Joe Biden, his staff, and important people in the FBI, the CIA, foreign services, the IRS, in many places, did not have a peaceful transfer of power to the incoming administration. No, what they did is they attempted a coup against a sitting president, largely perpetrated to cover up the crimes of that administration, and more importantly, its friends. That's what happened. And we've all been living with the mayhem of that. Like many, I took an oath. I took the oath that anybody who enters the military into elected service or appointed service as a judge that begins with the statement, I, your name, do solemnly swear that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic, that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same. And it varies after that, but it always ends, so help me God. And what that means is that for military people, when you get out of the service, you turn in your weapon, you turn in your uniforms, but there is no one to relieve you of that oath because you take that oath before God. And quite frankly, I don't know any armed service veteran who would give up that oath for anything because we love our country. But there are those who have taken that oath that have not borne true faith and allegiance to the same. Oh no, they are the domestic enemy. They are, in fact, the Democratic Party, entire. To a man or a woman, or insert your ridiculous pronoun here, however you want to spin it, they are communists. They are in the service of our enemies. They are our enemy. And I'd like to point that out to you right now. They are in the process of promoting violence and chaos in our streets to divide the American people, to bully them, to threaten them. And they've been doing it for a very long time.
I just don't even know why there aren't uprisings all over the country, and maybe there will be.
And maybe that's exactly how she wants it to be. Take a look at her actions. Take a look at some of the misery that this woman has architected in just this year. Forget the impeachment, forget the stupidity of their naked power grab. Instead, think about the pandemic. Think about all of the Democrat states that have remained locked down, that have gone through absolutely authoritarian fantasy rule. The governor of Michigan comes to mind immediately. Do as I say, or else. And we will utilize our police to enforce my will upon you. New York, New Jersey, Michigan, California, Oregon, Washington, Illinois, all of them Democrat-owned, operated, and all of them in desperate straits. But how about the American people at large? There used to be a joke which went, What do you call somebody who can fuck an entire nation without taking their pants down? Mr. President is the punchline. But in this case, it's Madam Speaker. In August, she could have provided surcease to the millions of people going broke, myself included. My credit's in free fall, all my savings are gone. But I'm just one. However, as one, I am trying to keep a household of 7 human beings, and God help me, 7 cats, alive and well during these troublesome times. Yeah, it's not easy on unemployment. It's damn not easy. But she wouldn't do that. She's dragged it out since August. She's dragged it out, and now it's election day, and still no end in sight, because she doesn't want to help the American people. She wants to command them. She wants to own and operate the Senate from the Congress. She wants to dictate how things are done, despite the fact that the Constitution draws very clear delineation of power. No. It must be her way, and only her way. There's not even a highway. There's no choice. They want America to be at each other's throats. This whole bullshit of racial injustice. What a crock of shit. These people are communists. They know full well that Marx hated black people. He was racist. I submit to you that all of these black bug-eyed bitches with the word racism on their lips are in fact the racists, the supremacists. Only in this case, I would say black supremacist, except that they don't care about black people. They just want to be supremacists. They want to be the authoritarian rule of law unto themselves. And if not, well, then by golly.
I'm looking to the public. This is as much about public outcry and organizing and mobilizing and applying pressure so that this GOP-led Senate and that these governors that continue to carry water for this administration, putting the American peoples in harm's way, turning a deaf ear to the needs of our families and our communities, hold them accountable. Well, make the phone call, send the email, show up. There needs to be unrest in the streets for as long as there's unrest in our lives.
I would like to point out cities like Baltimore, Chicago, Detroit, Los Angeles, San Francisco, Portland to a lesser extent, Seattle to a lesser extent. But these other cities have black slums and have had them for generations. The states have taken incalculable sums of money in taxes and federal dollars to try and help the problem. Well, yeah, they've helped the problem by enriching themselves, by destroying business, by supporting the deaths of black people's children through Planned Parenthood and abortion. They use abortion like birth control. They also have policies, Section 8 housing in particular, which states that a woman with children cannot have the father of said children in the home with her, or she will lose all of her benefits, all of her welfare, all of her subsistence living funding. Not enough to actually do anything, just enough to get by. And of course, they're not funding the schools. So the kids, kids aren't stupid. They're just young. Children have fought wars. Children are not stupid. They're just young. And they know a rigged system when they see it. When they sit in their classes and they realize that they're not being taught anything useful, and that the instructors, they don't care whether or not these children learn to read, to write, to do proper mathematics and arithmetic, algebra. No. They certainly don't teach them history, because if they taught them history, they'd have to teach them that, oh, by the way, the Democratic Party is the party of slavery. It fought for slavery. It wrote Jim Crow laws after the 3 amendments to our Constitution, which they fought. They fought against the 13th Amendment to free the slaves. They fought against the 14th Amendment to make ex-slaves citizens. They fought against the 15th Amendment to give these people the right to vote. And when they got the right to vote, they instituted poll taxes. They instituted literacy tests. They suppressed the rights of these good people to be able to vote in proper representation. And if they got uppity, well, then they had the Klan to deal with them uppity niggers. Oh yeah, nothing says justice and democracy like a black man hanging from a tree at a church social. But it's the GOP, right? Yeah, sure it is. Sure it is. These people are disgusting. So let's talk about the Klan. What was the Klan? The Klan was the military arm of the Southern Democrats. And they say, oh, no, that's not true. La, 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 la. Yeah, it was very true. Very, very true. Well, we don't have the Klan anymore. White supremacy is a terrible thing. Well, yeah, white supremacy is a terrible thing. It's fucking bullshit. But now what we've got is Democrat supremacy. And they too, just as the Southern Democrats in history, have got their own thugs in the streets, their own military arm. It goes under the name of BLM and Antifa. And if you get out of line, they will intimidate you. They will call you racist. They will call you Nazi. And because you are a racist Nazi, a white supremacist, it's perfectly okay to hit you, to hurt you, to kill you. This is a Democratic Party today. This is a result of stepping out of line and not submitting to Antifa. Antifa, my ass. That's insane. It's an old picture, so, you know, it's like, well, yeah, it's just one guy. Yeah, he probably had it coming. Yeah, well, this is a man dressed like an idiot. It's a free country, or at least it should be. And his young daughter. And this is Antifa chasing them out because he wouldn't say the words, the holy words. Other than a terrible costume, what was this man's crime? What was the justification for a mob of black-clad assholes pushing him and his daughter out of a public place and to the ground and to beat on him? He spoke out against them in a public place. He exercised his civil liberties. But you cannot have that. No, I'm sorry. You must be on your knees. You must bow before the militant arm of the Democratic Party, Antifa and BLM. Not enough? Okay. What do you suppose this is? Nazis come off our streets! Nazis come off our streets! Off our streets! So what was the The old lady's crime. She was white. She would not bow. She was in the way. She was inconvenient. That's their crime. They're not leftist, crazy fucks. And therefore, they must be destroyed entirely. That seems to be the message these days. You must be destroyed utterly. You're either with us or you're the enemy. I got news for you. We're not with you. And we're not right-wing. We're not alt-right. We're not centrist. You know what we are? We are unleft. That's it. That's liberals, centrists, conservatives, traditionalists. God help me, David Duke and his buddies, way over there in the distance. We are unleft. We are not white supremacists. We condemn them. We don't invite them to parties. They are not on our Christmas list. You know, in future generations, if these people have their way, somebody may hear me say that and go, "What's Christmas? Why is there a list? Is that how they get arrested back then?" Could be. Your Christmas list, you should guard it, because these people are going to come after you if you have faith. And if you have a Christmas list, well, then now they know who else to go after. You watch, that shit will happen. And why? Because the Democrats protect these animals, because they are doing their bidding. They are making America afraid in their own streets. Defund the police. Take your firearms away from you. Let them run through your neighborhood screaming in the middle of the night. And if you object, well, then they let you know that they know where you live. Obviously, they're right outside your fucking house screaming and shining lights in your bedroom window. And they'll be back. Make sure that your fire insurance is paid up. That might be very important. And how is it that even can happen? Why aren't our legislature doing something?
There's violence across the whole country. Do you disavow the violence from Antifa that's happening in Portland right now? That's
a myth that's being spread only in Washington, D.C.
About Antifa in Portland?
Yes.
Sir, there's videos everywhere online. There's fires and riots. They're throwing fireworks at federal officers. DHS is there. Look online. It gets crazy, Mr. Nadler.
Well, thank goodness it's just an idea and a myth. So saith Jerry Fat Bastard Nadler. Praise his name. Really? Hey, Jerry. Greens. Celery. Eat a fucking salad, you puke. My God. Do you think that maybe it's been 20 or 30 years since he's seen his dick without a mirror? I'm just asking. And if they're not supporting these people, then please explain to me how it is that the president, in effect, because you know goddamn well that Joe Biden, they had no intention of him being president. Are you kidding me? Come on. He's a Trojan horse. And inside that horse is this horse's ass. The most left-leaning political hack in government. Except for whoever she ends up appointing as her vice president. But yeah, what are they doing? While these assholes are burning our streets, while these absolute freaking lunatics are tearing everything apart, are they going to jail? Yeah, sometimes. Not very often. They go to jail in numbers. And then they're let out. There's not even bail. Hell, in Portland, the city DA for Multnomah County, Schmidt, He won't even charge them. He won't even pursue crimes like little things like assaulting a police officer or, whatever, unless there are larger crimes attached to it. How about murder? How about shooting somebody twice in the chest? Will you charge that one there, Mr. Schmidt? No. Didn't even look for him. The feds had to go find him. And he died because he was an idiot. And he shot at police officers who also were armed. There's a relationship to all these unsung heroes, unsung my ass, shouted from the rafttops heroes. It's kind of interesting. Kyle Rittenhouse shot 4 people in Kenosha. Okay? So 4 shots were fired. 4 violent felons with rap sheets for assault, sexual assault. And funny, the 2 that he shot after he was chased, they were sexual predators of children, child rapers. And the asshole that he shot in the arm, who was going to basically raise his weapon and shoot him too, yeah, charming guy, also a rapist and a violent felon. Here's a question. Anybody going to charge this violent felon, for having a firearm in the first place, let alone whether or not he was going to empty it into Kyle Rittenhouse? Nobody's even asking that question. Why? Well, maybe it's because the Democratic Party is too busy bailing people out for violent crime in the streets. Kamala Harris, her Twitter. If you're able to, chip in now to the Minnesota Freedom Fund to help post bail for those protesting on the ground in Minnesota. Protesting. Yes, that would be throwing Molotov cocktails, looting stores, beating the shit out of people. They're protesting. How does this become normal? See, protesting is carrying a sign, chanting something stupid probably, going rah, 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 sitting, blocking a road. The police come, they arrest you. There's your badge of honor. You're released because the judges aren't going to do anything about it because you were just protesting. It's not a big deal. It's your right. Yes, civil disobedience. Yeah, okay, fine. We'll talk to you in the city council. Fine. That's the way it's supposed to be. You're supposed to be able to protest your government. You are not permitted to run violently through the streets. You are not permitted to set fires. You are not permitted to break into stores and storefronts. You are not permitted to loot. You are not permitted to throw Molotov cocktails on police. You are not permitted to assault the police. You are not permitted to shine industrial-grade lasers in their eyes and blind them for life. You are not permitted to do those things. Those things are not protest. But the Democratic Party and the mainstream media, peaceful protest, peaceful protest, peaceful protest, peaceful protest, peaceful protest, peaceful protest. Goebbels in the 30s in Germany would have been so proud. But he said, tell a lie, the big lie. Tell it loud. Tell it constantly. Say it again and again and again. Shout it in the market square. Put it on the radio. Put it on a record player and set it up in small towns. That was their form of mass communications back then. And then people will believe it because they've heard it again and again and again and again and again. Peaceful protest. Oh, yeah. Sure. Take a look at a couple of the people that were peacefully protesting. And Kamala and her buddies collected millions of dollars to set free, because it wasn't just Minneapolis, it was everywhere. And they're still doing it. Let's see, among those bailed out by the Minnesota Freedom Fund is a suspect who shot at police, a woman accused of killing a friend, and a twice convicted sex offender, according to court records reviewed by Fox 9. And there's more. But I mean, these are the people that they're bailing out. People that are actual hardcore criminals. This isn't, mom putting on a t-shirt that says, insert slogan here, or a family going down to shout, political slogans at cars passing by, for 6 or 7 hours. No. These are thugs, felons, criminals. And they're doing criminal things in the streets, and they are sanctioned by the Democratic Party because they want unrest. They want to divide the American people. That is what they are here to do, and they're doing it extraordinarily well. And that's in the streets. And why should we suspect that it would be any different from our Democratic leadership?
I want to tell you, Gorsuch, I want to tell you, Kavanaugh, you have released the whirlwind, and you will pay the price.
Who the fuck does he think he is? Well, I'll tell you who he is. He's the Senate Minority Leader, the most powerful Democrat in the Senate. Only he isn't, is he? That would be Kamala Harris. Interesting. Crying Chuck Schumer. What a piece of work, eh? Threatening 2 Supreme Court justices that you better vote the way we want you to. You're not an independent body of our government. Oh, no. There's the executive, there's the legislative, and there's the judicial, but only if the judicial is loaded up with leftist activists instead of justices. Excuse me. Yeah. And they're all unhappy. They're going, oh, Amy Coney Barrett, how dare you elect, or excuse me, how dare you appoint and confirm a Supreme Court justice? The people need to be heard. Well, yeah, the people were heard, jackass. They were heard in 2018. They were heard in 2016. They were heard in 2014 when we put a Republican majority into the Senate and gave them the right to do their jobs. But see, Chuck and Nancy seem to think that, no, you have to do what we want you to do because, well, we've got money and we have thugs in the streets that'll burn down America unless you do it our way. Yeah, sure. How did we come to be here? Why is it that they're so pissed off? Well, because in 2013, Harry Reid used the quote-unquote nuclear option to make sure that the Senate didn't need 60 votes, but just a simple majority to get things done for appointments. Oh, but now they're unhappy about it because now, just like our Senate Majority Leader, Mitch McConnell, told them and warned them then, you will be sorry later because the shoe will get on the other foot eventually. And now it is. And now they're decrying it. It's all illegitimate. Why is it illegitimate? It's not illegitimate when you guys did it. In fact, you guys broke your own rules to do it, to grab power, because you thought you could win, and you did, but now you didn't. And so it has to be illegitimate. Why? Because you don't like it? Hey, Chuck, fuck you. Sorry. I know there are no kids listening, but, anyway.
Republican colleagues, you may win this vote, and Amy Coney Barrett may become the next Associate Justice of the Supreme Court. But you will never, never get your credibility back. And the next time the American people give Democrats a majority in this chamber,
Never.
You will have forfeited the right to tell us how to run that majority.
That insinuates that the minority has the right to tell the majority what to do. You know, I know that, you know, they've been dumbing people down for a long time, but when I was going to school, I learned critical thinking. You notice they don't teach our kids that now. They're too busy teaching them that America was built on the on the backs of slavery. These assholes were. And so now they want to bully the Senate. They want to bully the American people. Do it or else. Well, and then what? Then what? Well, maybe we'll take it from the horse's ass.
And if all this takes eliminating the filibuster, another Jim Crow relic.
And you know, a Democrat should certainly know where Jim Crow laws came from, since they wrote them in order to keep the slaves in line and to keep them from voting. It sounds funny coming out of the mouth of a black Democrat blaming the Republicans for what they themselves did. So yes, they want to destroy the filibuster, because the filibuster is the only thing that the minority Senate has in order to try and combat stupidity from their opponents. And it doesn't matter which side of the stupid line you're on. There is opportunity on both sides of the aisle to act the fool when you think you know what you're doing. Or in their case, when you know you can get away with it because it's all right. You know, the evening news will say to the American people whatever we tell them that they should say. And of course, the American people don't think for themselves anymore because the mainstream media think. No, not all of us it doesn't. And in fact, damn few of us. It's time to kick these bums out. Seriously. Because it's not just ending the filibuster.
In order to secure the God-given rights of every American, then that's what we should do. Now, even if we do all this.
Oh, I missed it. Hold on. I got to back this up. You know, I don't even want to hear this. He's standing over the corpse of John Lewis, and he's using it as an opportunity to pontificate from the throne. Yeah. That and some toilet paper, and you'll get about the same amount of worth out of this man. What he was saying was that they should provide statehood to D.C. and to Puerto Rico. Why? To change the balance of power. They think that they would have assumed democratic votes from Puerto Rico. Might not be a fair assumption. Might be, but might not be. And also from D.C. But here's the problem with D.C. D.C. is a federal incorporation of land. And in the Constitution, it says that the seat of federal government should not lie within the boundary of a state. That's why it doesn't. They don't care. They don't care at all. They'll go ahead and they'll shit all over that, just like they do everything else. Why? Because it'll give them power. Why? To take everything from us, to destroy the Constitutional Republic. In the name of what? Gender pronouns? Seriously? Go to your room. And of course, we have to hear from the squad. There's the four horsemen of the stupid. The members of the squad, a progressive wing of the Democratic Party, made up of Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, a dipshit, Ilhan Omar, a felon, Ayanna Pressley, also a felon, and Rashida Tlaib, an anti-Semitic piece of shit felon. All of these people have stolen from their election funds for their own purposes. They're just practicing for when they get, real power. Have called upon their party's presidential nominee, Joe Biden, to pack the Supreme Court. And that's the words that the Democrats are saying now is that, the Republicans are packing the court. No, they're filling empty seats. That's not packing the court. Adding additional seats to fill with activists instead of jurists, that's packing the court. That's what they're talking about. That's what they will do. They will do all these things and more, because once they have done that, they can completely twist the First Amendment. I'm willing to bet $1, which won't be worth anything if they get into office, so I'm willing to bet that $1, that it won't be very long to where the only religious liberty anyone experiences are the Muslims who want to kill us all. That's what they are. Islam is not a faith. It is an expansionist policy, and a violent one at that. And if you don't believe that, go to Paris. Walk where you're not supposed to go. Say Merry Christmas or wear a crucifix. Yeah, write your will before you do that. These people are scum. They're absolute scum. Take a good look at these faces. You've seen them all. You've heard them say these very things which are printed underneath and around them. She's got a big mouth. She had a lot to say. Does that sound like America to you? Does it? It better not. So vote. Vote for your soul. And if you want to vote Democrat, fine. Go ahead. Vote Democrat. We need to do better. We need to take our nation back. What I find most curious is the likes of Carl Benjamin and Katie Hopkins. They're not even Americans. And they're telling us, don't let America fall. Don't let America fall. God bless America. Get out and vote. And for the love of God, don't vote Democrat. They are our enemies. They are your enemy. It's not black people. It's not Jews. It's not even the mainstream Muslims. Most of them are probably decent people, but I still want them all out of my country because I don't trust them as a lot. But that's me. But right now, right here today, they have a right to be here. We all have rights, inherent. Don't fuck it up.